Hi traders, welcome back to the channel. So I don't know if it's the volatility, these crazy markets, but I'm getting a lot of questions about trading consistency. Mike, I need your help. How can I be more of a consistent trader? I've noticed I'm more inconsistent in my results. Why is that the case? What can I do? Is there anything I can do? Actually, it's a lot easier than you think. All right, I love this inconsistency question because it brings a lot to the table, particularly in these volatile markets. What could be the connection between volatility and consistency? Well, I think there's a lot. So let's get straight to the problem. And this is his words. I don't feel I'm making progress towards the goal of a consistently winning trader. Have you ever experienced that? Or are you doing that now? Let me know. I want to hear your thoughts as well. It's very common, particularly in volatile markets. Is there a connection? I think so. We'll talk about that in a second. The first thing I want to do is we can do all the analysis, all the analytics, all the psychological probing and all that stuff. But let's start with the first major hurdle, all right? Clear as day. Do you have a winning strategy with Edge? Because you can do all that stuff, but if you don't have that, and I'm talking about supportive, back test, maybe other traders have it, but you don't. Okay, we can work on certain things. There's a root cause there. Maybe we have to work on in development. But if you don't have a winning strategy with Edge, let's kind of end this conversation, all right? So let's make sure we have that. So the first thing I want to do is we want to break down the components of the strategy and your execution of it, all right? Does it have a positive edge? Okay, maybe you have a back test or maybe you have another trader who's crushing it. That's great, but that doesn't help you out. Let's take a deeper dive into the entry, the trade management, and the risk management, all right? Are there any parts of those three components that maybe you're lacking or maybe you need development in? So you can have a good strategy and everything's great, but if you have poor risk management, it's not going to work. If you have everything in place, but your entry sucks, not going to work either, all right? Let's take a deep dive and see what is the area that maybe is slipping up. Don't just scrap the strategy or don't say you're inconsistent. Maybe it's just that one little piece, and often it is. That's the difference between inconsistency and you becoming consistent. I want to do this one-on-one sort of deep dive into the psyche, right? And find out, is it you or is it the markets? Again, consistency can be great, but if you have a certain strategy, maybe it doesn't work in highly volatile markets that we're experiencing now, right? Maybe it's just like a quick scalping thing in dull markets. Well, yeah, you're going to be inconsistent, all right? So maybe it is a market thing. And honestly, in the high volatility markets, I've noticed a lot where traders are becoming more inconsistent. Are they adjusting right? Are they moving their stops to a reasonable area to accommodate the variance and the noise? Quite often, they're not, and they're getting hit. Well, you can't have a bigger reward and then leave your stop below a 5-minute bar. You have to adjust that accordingly. That's usually the tip of inconsistency, particularly in high volatile markets, but maybe it's something else. Maybe it's fear of loss, all right? Okay, I love the rewards that these markets are giving me, but I don't want to lose too much. Well, they kind of go hand in hand. So do we have to make an adjustment to get you to be more consistent? Maybe it's reducing size so you're able to give a little more room on your stops, right? Because the volatility is so much higher. Is the trader in a state of abundance versus a state of scarcity? These markets are kind of crazy, and maybe you'll have a confident trader, but when it comes to these sort of high volatile situations, they kind of tighten up, tense up. Does it ever happen to you? Happens to me. But there's easy solutions: lower size, or even just take a step back. Work on your development. Right? So many traders just want to get in. They see the shining lights and these 100-point moves in the NASDAQ. Well, those are great, but those come with 100-point moves against you as well. Does your sort of normal state of abundance shift more towards a state of scarcity when markets are more volatile? I've noticed that. That's fine. You can make adjustments, but when you don't make the adjustments, now you're just like a sitting duck and you'll end up resulting in inconsistency. All right, so I also want to perform a journal review and look at some of the things I can detect from there. And I'll go just bullet by bullet. Let's go right down the list. All right, do you increase size after losses? That's going to impact your consistency. All right, what's the solution? Platform controls. All right, in these high volatile markets, I know we want to capture these big wins, but set the platform controls. Daily loss limit. Number of size, maybe it's a quantity of futures contracts or shares. Limit that on your platform, that you're not able to do that, or have that little control box that pops up. It says, hey, do you realize you're not supposed to be trading more than 100 shares or something? I don't know if you have that feature. you can get away with it. It's not a full control, but it forces you to click that OK button. And if you do, quite honestly, you deserve your own destiny of inconsistency. So keep that in mind. Is the size itself the problem? All right, we need to scale back a little bit, particularly if you're inconsistent in your results. If you lower size and you go back to consistency, now we have identified a really cool gold nugget. All right, it's okay, I'm uncomfortable with these big sizes. That's okay. We'll build that muscle. Now we've identified it, and there's certainly plans and programs in place that we can help build that muscle slowly and accurately without impacting your consistency. But the fact you've identified it, that's really cool. Now, if you reduce size and you're still inconsistent, maybe now it's a strategy problem, or maybe it's just you're not a good fit for that strategy, all right? Or maybe the markets are just too crazy to trade, and that's okay. We could work on more development, things like that. So see where we're going. We're kind of picking a little bit, trying to identify which area we want to focus in and find the root cause of the inconsistency. Okay, to summarize, all right, it's all about identification. We're identifying what's the root cause. Is it you? Is it the markets? Is it just a bad streak? Is it randomness? Or is it volatility that usually, without adjustments, will create more stop outs, which will eventually lead to inconsistency. And then, traders pissed off and they're all calling me for help. All right, let's find the root cause, and then we're going to set controls in place, like I mentioned earlier, to help alleviate those demons. One of the quick identification hacks that I found is a lot of the times when you have a consistent trader and goes inconsistent in a volatile market is their entry. They tend to have a little more FOMO or chase entries. Right? That's not good. That eats away at your profit margin. So the first thing I want you to do is target the entry. What was your entry compliance and how was it affected in volatile markets? Right? You may find that the root cause is right there. You don't have to go further. Just focus on getting back to proper entry compliance. All right, so I hope you got a little something out of this. We've all had some inconsistency. It's really part of the nature of the markets and the randomness, just sometimes unexplainable, even if you're trading your plan appropriately. All right, well, I can go one step further. Click on the link below. This is really all about the risk management process, that identification, assessment, and control. We talked a lot about how to identify these areas of consistency. I'll give you the PDF. You don't need a coach or anything like that. Show you the process of how to start identifying the areas that you need to improve in. All right, click on the link below. Nice PDF there for you, and enjoy. If you have any questions on it, you can, of course, let me know. All right, good luck with these volatile markets. Be careful, keep size small, and we'll see you next time.